And action.
Good afternoon, Eric. How are you today?
Pretty good. Yourself, Jeff?
Pretty good. I'd like to hear your personal A story that you might more clearly define your attributes and such for the folks out here.
Well, I do have a couple of, I do have one. It's not really more like a story, but I tend to apply it every single time. And it's usually, I always tend to apply this every single time whenever I'm at this area. Me and my dad, we work at a ranch every Sunday. Well, I go there every Sunday, and I've been around it my entire whole life. And I just like being around animals, and I just like being around the area. And looking at the ranch, I just like being out there and just like, work as much as I can, work hard. It's a big, large acreage area, and what I love about it is just the roads that are there. Not every road that I look at, it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be like, it's not gonna be like this nice pavement road that you see down here, that we're standing upon or walking upon every single day when we get to work or when we get to school. The roads that I tend to take in that ranch are always different. It's going to be dirt road, rock road. When it's muddy, you get out there and you get your ass out there and you go to work, and then you get in there and just start throwing the hay. And also whenever I take out the cows, it's always poison ivy, different kind of sand, which is like river sand, because the river, it's been dried out. And every time when I'm out there, I look at the roads that I take, the paths that I take. It's not always easy, and I always apply that to the career that I'm taking right now, because the career that I'm taking right now, that I've decided to take for a very long time, I look at it like there's been like a lot of obstacles. And I look at the poison ivy, I look at the dirt road, I look at the rock road as obstacles. And I looked at it, and I always looked at it like something like the rock roads are slowing you down. And then poison ivy, it's toxic people. I look at it like toxic people. And also when you look at mud, that's also personal issues that was going on in personal life. And also it's just really nice to be around it, and I just like being in that environment because that's what keeps me going. It's what keeps me drive, and also makes me motivate myself every single time when I'm out there. Just want my work to be cut out.
Excellent. Anything else you'd like to add?
I just look at nature as sometimes it could be your best friend, and sometimes it could be your worst enemy.
Well said.
I just like being around that environment.
Well said. Thank you.
Yeah.
Rolling speed. Action.
JT, how you doing? Or Jeff Taylor?
I'm doing fine. Call me anything you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Late for dinner? All right. I'll be
Okay.
sure to remember that
All
the
right.
next coming future. So give us your personal A story, for everything that you've gone through, since you were a kid. Do you have like any personal stories that you want to share, that you want to apply in the future?
I think the personal story I have goes back to when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
being that my passion is radio, which of course you need a voice for that.
That's right.
You also need a memory. They say that when you get older, two things happen. You start to forget things, and the second thing, I can't remember. So, but I do have a voice, and I've taken that through my life to where I'm at right now. But before I go to where I'm at right now,
Right.
I'd like to go back and just start from the beginning. When I was a kid, we had a little clubhouse out in the back.
No, sweet.
And I built upon that clubhouse, which I think you could kind of look at it like building upon your life. The first floor was very, very short. So I was just a kid. But as I got older, I would grow and my head would hit the ceiling. And so I would have to elevate that, which is just another form of growing. On the second floor, I actually built the second floor. I mean, I shudder now to think that I was actually standing on the roof of this thing, which could have collapsed any time.
Oh.
But then again, a lot of things collapse in life too.
Right.
But you don't deal with that until it happens. And it never happened. I was so involved and intrigued with recording and radio. Back then it was walkie-talkies, citizens band radios and things like that, which me and the kids used to get together, and I would steal my sister's record player. and I would run a long extension cord out to the club, and we'd put that little turntable up there, and I had a little makeshift antenna that I made out of coat hangers, and I had a walkie-talkie.
Creativity right there.
And I took that walkie-talkie, and you got to press the button to transmit, and then you lit off. And so, anyways, I put a rubber band around there so it was always transmitting. And then I would put the walkie-talkie next to the turntable. And I stole a lot of my sister's records, which didn't make her very happy, because a lot of them were always returned in not the same condition that I borrowed them in. And I would sit there and I would broadcast over the neighborhood on that walkie-talkie, just playing different types of songs and such. And we had kids in the neighborhood that would have their walkie-talkies tuned in to us. So it was like I had my own little private radio station, is what I did.
Really cool.
It used to piss a lot of the citizen band radio operators off, because I was stepping on the signal, and as long as I had that transmitter on, they could not broadcast.
Yeah.
So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that it's been a passion of mine ever since I was a kid. I've always liked singing, public speaking. It took a long time. It took about 53 years to realize that my voice was my best attribute.
Right.
And, one of the reasons I'm here now, talking to you and just giving you the lowdown as to what I feel I'm best at. It's taken a long time, and like I've said before, I don't know if I was chasing the dream or the dream was chasing me. All I know is we both wound up. It caught up to me.
Just follow the arrows,
It just
basically.
and the rest is pretty much history. It took schooling. It took the support of my family to push me through it, because I had a bad way of sabotaging my own self all the time. I talk myself out of things easily. But this is something I've followed. This is something I'm proud of. And this is something that I will take for the rest of my life and apply it to the situation I am currently involved with right now, which is being a voice talent and living the dream.
Yeah. Having fun with it, right?
Thank you. And rolling.
So,
Action.
tell me about yourself, your personal A story.
Personal A story is, well, a moment that stands out to me a lot. I had a really unique opportunity to get a good feel of what good leadership can result in. And basically what happened with me was I went to a Boy Scout ranch called Philmont. It's this big 100-acre ranch in New Mexico that's owned by the Boy Scouts of America. And you can send crews there. The different troops can send crews there from all over the nation. And you go on these big backpacking trips. So I went with a group of about 8 boys and 3 adults. And the whole thing is supposed to be boy-led. So the adults aren't supposed to do anything aside from follow. If you get lost, you get lost. It's just the way it is. I was lucky enough to be elected crew chief. So I was pretty much in charge of all of these 11 people for 2 weeks. And it was a 2-week hike, just like out there in wilderness. So one particular day, we were climbing a mountain called Mount Phillips. So we were camped out at the base. We woke up and we had to climb to the top that morning. And it's just all vertical, and it's just a hard climb. And we go to leave that morning, and I was kind of running out of water. So my friend comes over and he's like, "Hey, I have this Gatorade packet that's like endurance. So like it'll give you more energy. Like add it to your water when we get water. Like it'll be great." My other friend goes, "Oh, I have this thing. It's called Zip Fizz. It's like a little energy booster as well." And apparently, Zip Fizz is just like straight like B12. Like it's like just an energy drink like mixed in with even more energy drinks. It's like insane. So I hold on to these things. We get up to the top of the mountain, and it like everyone was just dead. Like ready to just drop. It was a hard elevation gain. So we're eating lunch up there, and as we're sitting there, we're looking over the like valley, and it's like, wow, it's so beautiful. And we can't help but notice this like solid black cloud that's just like rolling in right at us. And we go, that's really bad. So then we look over behind us where there is a second black cloud rolling right in on top of us. And we very quickly were like, in about 15 minutes, it's going to essentially be nighttime, and we need to not be on top of a mountain. So we were above the tree line, so there's like no tree coverage or anything. So we did like a quick pack run and just started like darting down the other side of this mountain, and just all hell broke loose. It was full lightning bolt, thunder, just like in the middle, like you're like in the cloud with the storm. Huge like shaking experience. And we like knew we had to get off the mountain, like we couldn't stay there. So we keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. And I was just like driving these guys like down this mountain because like we have to get there, we have to get there. And we're pulling out the maps, they're all wet, and we're trying to figure it out. And we find out that we still have like 5 more miles to go to just truck through the mud and the range and everything. And just nobody wants to move. Everyone's dead, everyone's spent. It was emotional, it was scary, and like no one wanted to move, but like we couldn't stay there. Luckily, I had drank all my endurance stuff that everybody gave me on top of the mountain. So while every single person was just ready to be done, including all the adults I might add, I was like hyper as all belief. Like, and I was just like pumped up, and I knew that the only way to get them there was to like stay at that high level. So I was like picking guys up as they were sitting down, and I was like, we have to go, we have to go, we have to keep going. Here's like, if it's too heavy, we started moving gear out of people's packs that were getting too heavy for them because we were pushing way harder than we were anticipating. And we finally ended up making it to camp. So everyone was really mad at me, and everyone was really like, oh my God, like, cause I just grinded them down to get out of that situation. But then a couple days later, we go to do a food run where you just take day packs, leave all the heavy stuff, and we just run to get like to a food station to find more. So we get the food, and I'm running back, and as I'm going, both of my calves just straight lock up, done. I like literally like fell and could not stand anymore. Both of my legs just had completely cramped up, and like I couldn't move. And I got this wonderful feeling of like, for the first time, like I thought everybody hated me. I thought I had been too hard. Like I wasn't sure like if I had been doing the right thing, if I was a good leader or not. And without even like missing a beat, my guys like immediately picked me up, immediately got like just jumped in and like took over, and suddenly I was priority number 1. And it was surreal to like be out of it and just watch all of these guys do all this stuff for me, because there was just that beautiful give and take in there that I helped them get through that situation, and then when I needed them, they were right there to be for me. So it made a big impact on me in my life, because it taught me a lot about when you're leading people, you aren't there to raise yourself up, you're there to get them to raise up instead.
Thank you very much.